hit 6, 7, okay, we're going to determine zeros, just like we did on that question that we just did from the homework yesterday. So, the steps here are something, again, kind of a guideline. We're going to punch it into the calculator to see if we can find a simple x-intercept, a whole number, because those are the easiest ones to work with. Then we're going to do synthetic division, just like we did on number 50 from the last assignment. And then we'll get to these last steps when we get there. If I try to explain it now, it's not going to make a whole lot of sense, probably. But just a couple of things. This is an important note. You'll get the same number of answers as the number of the degree. So if it's x cubed, you're going to get 3 answers. If it's x to the 5th, you're going to get 5 answers. Okay? Just kind of let that be your guide. And then sometimes you'll get what's called multiplicity, which means the same answer twice. So if your graph hits the x-axis and goes back up or back down, you may get the same answer twice, and that's okay. So here we go. All right. Up, down here a little bit. This room is just because sometimes these can take a little while, sometimes they're going to go really fast. So, if you haven't gotten hold of a graphing calculator, please go grab one. And he's like, which one am I supposed to take? Just grab one, and actually just grab one towards the end there. That'll be fine, because we got more than enough for everybody. And when you get your calculator, if you hit the window button up at the top and just make sure we all have the same window, that'll save us a little bit of time so we don't have some of you panicking. Sometimes the windows get messed with. Yeah, I know. They don't use the calculators much. I don't know why. That's okay. Battery's low, sometimes they'll last a bit. If it starts turning off on you right in the middle of doing a problem, let me know when it's switched up. But make sure your window is here to start. Window, again, up at the top of your calculator. And if it's not looking like this, just kind of type in the number so it does. Because our main focus is going to be on the x-axis anyway. That's where our zeros are located. We want to find those intercepts. So once we've got that set, negative 10 to 10 for our x and y maxes, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the y equals here. Pull that out. Move this up. Why has it got to do that in that one spot? Okay. And we're going to type this first expression in. So again, x is our funky button here next to alpha. The caret button right above divide is for any exponent above 2. So that funky up arrow. So x to the third is 4x squared plus 3x. And what we're going to do is now we're going to go ahead and we're going to graph that. Let me get rid of my glare a little. There we go. Okay. So I look at this and I say, okay, I know right away, because of this 3, there are going to be 3 answers. There should be 3 places that this graph crosses the x-axis. And I can see right here, there's one here, there's one here, and there's one over here. Now let's see if we get lucky. Because if we do, so second and graph will get me the table. If they list all the zeros for me right away, sweet, I'm done. Okay? So I look and I'm like, hey, look. At x equals 0, y is 0. Okay. X equals 0, it crosses there. Sweet. At 1, y is 0. That's one of my x's. X equals 1. Sweet. X equals 3. Okay? You have found all of your zeros. Now, let's just say you're somewhere where you don't have a graphing calculator available. Like, crap. Okay, the computer one's not working. Don't have my one with me. My battery's just ran out. Can I still get to the answer? It's not going to take forever. Yes. We're going to do like we did on number 50 on yesterday. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, we know what the answers are at this point. If we're on a test, we're done. But let's just say the calculator's not there. So here's what we're going to do. Once you figure out where one of your zeros is, so let's just say, look at this, you're like, well, they all have x, so 0 is going to be one of my answers. Okay? But division by 0 doesn't help me. So I start to look, I'm like, well, 1 would work. So if I only had one of these, let's say I had 1. Okay, let's say it was the only one I allowed you to see on the calculator. I'm going to take that value, and I'm going to do synthetic division on this. Now, any possible pitfalls here? So do I just do 1, -4, 3, and I'm ready to go? I do. If there's not a constant term at the end, okay, just a plain number, you still need that there. Just like when we had the x's that we missed, we've got to have that too. So then we just do the regular old long division. Okay? Using synthetic division. 1 times 1 is 1. Add them up. -3 times 1 is -3. Add them up. So now, since I started with x to the third, I start 1 degree below that. And you're like, okay, so now what? Well, if you notice, I'm going to come back down just a bit here. Step number 3, which I skipped before, repeat these steps until we reduce the polynomial to a quadratic. In other words, something that starts with x squared. Well, our current problem does start with x squared now, so we've done that. At that point, you factor what's left, and you're done. So, similar to what we did in number 50, once I get to here, I say, okay, so I have x squared minus 3x, and whatever my quadratic is, I set it equal to 0. Do my two terms have anything in common? X. And what would I have left for my parentheses then? X minus 3. I set each of those parts equal to 0. And I solve them. And since I was given that x equals 1, we assumed we saw that on the calculator, I just got the other two answers, and I already knew that x equals 1. I got the same 3 answers that I did from the calculator. And I'm still going to keep telling you, if you had the calculator and you can get all the answers that way, that's fine. But I'm just saying, it won't always work that way. Number 2, okay? Because, just to let us see that everything doesn't always work out just the way we would like, let's clear this out. Let's pop number 2 in here and see what happens. X to the third minus x squared, 49x minus 49. Now this is going to cause a whole different issue. You're like, what the? Party, what if I make this really big? It's just not, I can't see them. Okay, you don't have to do this on yours, just let me do it on mine here. Let's just say, I don't know, let's make sure. Let's make my x and y, because maybe that's just it. Or maybe not. Well, maybe, just maybe, the x's need to stretch some, oops. The x's need to stretch some more. Okay, let's try that. Or maybe not. Well, what the heck? So how am I supposed to figure this out? Because I only see one spot that it's going through. Well, let's at least hope that's a whole number. So if I get my table up, okay, good. At least I see a 0 here. So I see one of my zeros is going to be at x equals 1. Well, now what? Well, now, since the calculator doesn't seem like it's going to be help, since we are looking for 3 answers and we only found 1, now we have to go to the backup plan, which is doing synthetic division. So, I know that x is 1. 3, 2, 1, yes, sir. basically what you would want to do there is you're going to try to take, most of the time, at least one of your answers is going to be a whole number. It's going to be a smaller whole number. Here, even if I tried like 0, 1, and 2 and just plugged them in where x was, like here, if I plugged 1 in, 1 cubed is 1, minus 1 is 0, 49 times